Karate Pandays. Sorry, this is the second time I've recorded this video because the first time the recording was too soft. Alright, I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. Okay, so we start off and we have the same photo that we had last time. So we got the saint, the patron saint of cooking in the Orthodox Church. So Saint Euphrosinos or Euphrosinos. Okay, we've got that. Okay, and what we are looking at today is Philippians 1, chapter 1, verses 3 and 4. Okay, so let's get started. Now, just before we do, I thought I would say from the outset, there are some parts of the Bible, biblical Greek, where the translation is reasonably straightforward. It's not controversial at all. That means that no matter which translation, I'm kind of like daring myself to be wrong, which translation you look at, it will basically be the same kind of thing. So it doesn't matter whether you look at the King James or NIV or whatever, or even in a different language, it will be translated the same way. Now there are some translations, now I'm not going to say which ones they are or anything like that, where sometimes there are little bits which are a little bit controversial and not really supported by the Greek. But our aim is to basically look at what the Greek says. So let's begin. So I'll start off by reading. So Eucharistototeou mu epipase temneia humon pantote impase de esse mu huper panton humon metakaras tendesin poiuminos. Again, that of course is the Erasmian pronunciation. Okay, for the modern Greek pronunciation, you'd have to get someone who's more qualified. Okay, let's begin. So we have the first word. That's a good place to start. We got Eucharisto. Now, two things. We can actually make an educated guess when we look at this, and we can say that this is likely to be a verb. Doesn't have the iota subscript under the omega, which the next two words do, so it should be a verb. In earlier Greek and maybe Homeric Greek as well, then that could be a dual form, but we don't generally see that in the New Testament. I can't think of an example offhand. So we start off, let's have a look. So we've got Eucharisto. So we've got the word charis in there, which some of you might know as grace, and those of you who speak modern Greek, our way of saying thank you is evcharistipoli. So it's going to clearly have something to do with thanking. So we got I thank. Great. So we got that. Now, just out of interest, we got the U or the AU at the beginning, or the EV. Now, that has the idea of to thank enthusiastically. Theoretically, and I've never seen this word, theoretically the idea of thanking reluctantly would be kakokaristo, which we don't have. You're hardly likely to say, I thank reluctantly God, or something like that. So we got evcharisto toteo. And we got toteo is just going to be the dative case. So, why is it dative? Because we got the Eucharisto. So we've got I thank God. Okay, we got that. We know who God is, so we don't need to explain. So we got the mu. That's going to be the genitivus. It's going to be genitive. Sorry, Latin slipping in. So we got I thank my God. We got that rather than someone else's. Now we got epipasi or passe, temneia. Okay, we got that. So it's going to be dative cases. So if we were thinking the epi would take the accusative case, it would mean to or towards, or onto, or something like that. But here it's going to mean for. Okay, let's have a look. So we've got passe. Now I say at the beginning of every video, I say pantes, or hapantes sometimes. and that means all. So all of you, and that's going to be plural. Now, the feminine, so it is feminine, is going to be slightly different. It's going to be from passa. Okay, we got that. So we got passi. Okay, which is just going to change to passi because of a variety of linguistic things which I won't explain here. So we got, I thank my God for all of. Now we got the mneya. That means either of two things. Remembrance. Actually, we'll say three things. Could mean mention. So we can kind of see that. We got that. Or it could mean something like memory. And then we got the word humon or himin. So that is going to basically be of you. So it's going to be genitive plural. So if we have that on ending and we know it is first or second declension or a pronoun. Okay, third declension does it as well, but it's a little bit more complicated. Then it should be genitive plural. Now just bear in mind that if it is a verb and is active, if we have the participle form, that will end in on in the nominative, but we don't have a participle. So it is very important when reading their things to actually work out what kind of word it is. And we can do that with a dictionary, we can do it with whatever we like. So we got, I thank my God for every, why don't we say every, not all, every remembrance of you. So that's a nice way of kind of beginning this kind of thing. Okay, this kind of idea, the people of Philippi, who we talked about last week, so it's probably in fact it's definitely in the kind of Macedon area. Okay, let's keep on going. So we've got the pantote. Now that's going to be related to pan or passe or pantes, which we've got, but this is an adverb. So something like in every way. Now we got en passe. Now if you look in the first line, we've got exactly that word with a different preposition. So the en always takes a dative case, never takes anything else, and it so here means in or something like that. So in every way, in passe, every, so it is singular. Now we've got de-esse. Doesn't look dative, but it is dative. That's going to be third declension dative. So from the word de-essis, we got that. And that means prayer. So we got that. So in every prayer, mu. So we have mu almost directly above. So te or mu. So we got de-esse mu. So the mu means of mine. In every prayer of mine, I think I've seen translations which say in all of my prayers, but that's not really very controversial. So that's basically what it means. So let's keep on looking. So we've got huper panton humon. So the huper. So if we think we haven't seen this before, it's actually really similar to the Latin word which comes into English of super, above. So if you think in your first aid training, we got hyperthermia. So being too hot. So being above where your heat is. But the opposite sounds really similar. Hypothermia. They sound a little less similar in Greek. So got huper and hupo. Got that. So in this case, it's not going to mean above. It's going to mean on behalf of. So in every prayer of mine, in all of my prayers, okay, huper panton humon, and that's just going to be a straight genitive. We had the humon above. So on behalf of all of you, and then we're going to translate the entire bit, and then we'll go back and translate the entire sentence. So you got metakaras. Now the karas is going to be, so we had the Eucharisto, mixing up my pronunciations today. So you got the Karas has to do with thanks. So with thanks. Okay, we got that. Okay, 10 days sin. Now that 10, and we might do something on cases a little bit further. So that's going to be accusative. So desin is going to go with that straight away. And then we're finishing with poiumenos. Now that's going to be a participle, and that's very rare. So kind of contradicting my first video all the way back. So that is a very rare middle. We don't see that very often. So the idea of the middle, as opposed to the active or the passive, is doing something for one's own benefit. So this means that Paul actually gets something out of this. Okay, and don't think that he's getting anything material. So poiumenos, this is kind of unselfish for a change. So making a prayer on your behalf, if we want to take the on your behalf there, with thanks. Alright. So, whole thing again. So we got in every respect, in every prayer of mine, making a prayer on behalf of all of you with thanks. Okay, and we might end it there. So I hope you have a wonderful end of the day, and I might, post again next weekend. Ka rite.